Hello, world, and welcome to another No Brainer show. I am the GOAT. I'm Big Daddy. I am here to entertain your minds. And of course, as you notice, there's a person missing because he's on vacation. Yes, slacker. I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, Derek, have fun with whatever you're having doing tonight. And he didn't make it, so I will definitely call him my sidekick because I know he hates when I do that. But tonight we got a fantastic guest. And before I really dive into letting her take over, I want to talk about her for a brief moment. I have known Brittany now for 14 years. I hired her. I was running a restaurant and I hired her. It was her first serving job. She was 18 years old, and her spunk, won me over. I don't ever really look at how good you are at something. I look at your attitude, and then I know I can mold you into whatever I need you to be. And we've stayed in touch, and she has a phenomenal entrepreneurial path that we're going to go down tonight. So I really think, and I did a little girl power, I got to have my females on, got to support them. So I want to introduce everybody to Brittany Walker. Brittany.
What's going on? I can't believe it's been 14 years.
I know. Well, here's how I know it's 14 years. Because LARINE and I just had our 14th wedding anniversary, and I think you knew us before we got married.
Yes, I did. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. We were dating at the time, and you got to meet my beloved LA, who is never shows her face on camera, but sometimes she does. She'll pop in and say hi. But yeah, you got to meet LARINE. We were working at a restaurant that is no longer in existence anymore.
Yeah, what did they do with that place?
I haven't. You know what? Oh, I was in Lake Mary today. I was like, I should have drove by and saw.
It looks like it's still ghost town. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if Don still owns the property. I mean, why wouldn't he? He's a real estate guy, but I would have thought he would have sold it because that's got to be worth a ton of money.
For sure. Yeah. That area is definitely blowing up.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we moved out to Apopka in 2016. We were in Mount Dora, and I got to be honest with you. I'll never live in an HOA community again. It was like the worst. And we found a home in Apopka that was in a really nice established neighborhood, but no HOA. Nice. And we moved here, and it was nothing but orchards and all the farmings and everything. And now we've got 9,000 homes going up. And I say that it sounds exaggeration. Literally, they're building this mall over here that they're building apartments on top. And I mean, wow. It's just madness. Yeah. But you've lived in Florida all your life, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've been in Lake Mary pretty much my whole life. I mean, I spent some time out in Lake County when I was younger because I rode horses. So when I was 7, we moved out to Eustis. And then when I was 15, I came back to Lake Mary. But it's crazy, even like where I live, because I live right in what's called Midtown. So it's near downtown Lake Mary. And the road that you turn down to, which is Longwood Lake Mary, to get to my house, it used to be cattle pasture, like all of it. And now it's apartments and, yes. All like retail space.
Right. And oh, that's funny because we had another girl who lived out in Lake County who was worked for us, and her I think weren't her grandparents like the mayors of the town of Umatilla or something, and they owned the big feed store out there. And
oh yeah, probably Dan's Feed Shop or something.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I remember. Yeah, she was a big horse girl. That's horse country out there. Did you go to? I meant to ask. Did you go to Lake Mary High School?
I did. So only for 1 year, because I went to Mount Dora High School my freshman through my junior year, and then we moved back here. So I went to Lake Mary.
Oh, okay. Because my friend's a teacher there. I don't know Pat Barrett, but Mr. Barrett, he taught special ed, or he teaches special ed. So,
oh, okay.
But he was also one of the football coaches and stuff, and he teaches, or he coaches the girls lacrosse team.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So you got out of high school. Was with the restaurant your first job, or that was just your first serving job?
So that was my first serving job. So when you hired me, I was a hostess at Liam's, which is no longer there, Liam Fitzpatrick's. And obviously I wanted to get into serving because I wanted to make money. So I went over and saw you. I think my friend Erica was the one who told me to come see you. I don't know if you remember Erica. She had the red auburn hair. Yeah.
Married the Navy guy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they live in Virginia, I think now.
Yeah, I think she might have moved. I need to check in with her. I haven't talked to her in a long time, but we stayed in touch here really until like the last, I'd say 2 or 3 years. And then we just kind of, just lost touch and life got busy, but I'll have to touch base with her. But yeah,
It,
no, so I came over to see you, and you were managing the smokehouse,
uh-huh.
and you gave me my first serving job. And to this day, I'm like, you were in the service industry, you were hands down the coolest manager I ever worked for. Now I don't know about the guy above you. I don't know how I really felt about him.
No, he threw a case of soda at me one time. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, no,
Um,
he was awful, but you were great. You were like that good buffer.
yeah, I protected my staff, and it's really funny that the restaurant industry is if you were, and thank you for that the accolade. I don't like to toot my horn, but if you're a good boss and you treat your staff right, they follow you everywhere you go, and
Yeah,
they stay in touch with you. I still talk to servers. I mean, I worked in the industry for quite some time. When the car business was terrible, and I just got out of it, and I love the restaurant business. I could not do it now. I don't think I could keep it. That's a younger man's game for sure.
yeah,
But yeah, I still have most of my servers or bartenders are friends with me, on Facebook, and we stay in touch. And I have a really one of my close bartenders from Buffalo Wild Wings. We talk all the time. So yeah, it's kind of cool, and it's like now I feel it's kind of silly because I'm like, wow, I'm old enough to be your guy's dad, like, but it's cool, and everybody watched me go through progression, met my wife, and I kind of joked with Lorianne. I said, listen, come out to the restaurant, you're going to meet all my girls, and they're going to give you the side eye, they're going to check you out, but
No, those were the good days. Honestly, I enjoyed working there. It was, to me, some nights were chaos because I had never been in serving before, and I remember I remember specifically there was a couple nights that it was so busy that I would forget, like I forgot about a table one time, and I was like devastated because I saw, like, I just happened to turn and look at them, and I just saw them staring at me, and I just knew it had been, a long time since I had stopped by, and I ran straight to you, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need your help. I need you to
yeah.
come, like, put the fire out. But no, those were good times.
No, number one rule was get Zach when you're in the weeds, get Zach.
Yes, always.
Yeah. So I left there. I got married and I went back in the car business. Yeah. And I left there, and then you shortly left. Well, I think did you stay till it closed?
No, I left, I think, before you did, I think. Or I
Oh,
don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's 14 years ago. I don't
14
remember what
years.
I did 14 minutes ago.
Right.
Did you left there, and where did you go from there?
I ended up going to Friendly Confines. So then this was like, I was fresh out of high school when I came to you. And then I went to Friendly Confines. I worked there for about 3 years with Carm. I don't know if you know Carm, but it was a sports bar in Lake Mary. And there was a great time too, because they had just opened their doors and it was just booming at the time that I started serving there. And so I was making really good money. I mean, I was 18. This is again 14 years ago. Back then, making $300 a night was really good money as an 18-year-old who I still at the time was living at home. I moved out actually when I was working at Friendly Confines because I was making such good money. And then I don't know, it was about 3 years in, and I was across the street at Pint, which was like a gastropub that was across the street. And that's the thing about being in that industry. I felt like every night I was going out. And that was like the thing to do. So you work, especially if you're working till, midnight, which I was frequently. And then it'd be like, oh, all the girls would go across the street and we, drink. And so I was there at Pint Gastropub one night, and I don't know, I just had this like revelation. I'm sitting at a table. It's literally like about to close. So it's almost 2 a.m. And I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I just had this weird, like insane feeling that I did not want to be in hospitality anymore because I just looked around. I'm like, this is going to be my life forever if I, don't get out and do something. I had no college degree. I had no desire to go to college. I think I went to college for like 5 minutes. And in my first day, I fell asleep in one of my classes, and they tried to, or they, said that if I fell asleep again, they would kick me out. And I'm like, how are you going to kick me out of something I'm paying for? And that's like
Right.
when it just clicked for me that college was not for me. So I ended up, my mom was a banker. She's still a banker, actually. She's just on the mortgage side now. But she
I
was,
think I met your mom one night. She came in
yeah,
for dinner. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Emily. Yeah. And
Mhm.
she was in banking pretty much her whole life off and on, either banking or real estate. And so one of her old bosses used to run the home bank on Lake Mary Boulevard, which is now a dispensary, a cannabis dispensary. But she had ran that branch, and her and I got really close when I was in high school. I just really loved my mom's boss. She was like another you, just another leader. She's someone still to this day. She's one of my customers. Like we stay in touch on a weekly basis. We go to lunch. But I texted her at almost 2 o'clock in the morning that night when I was at Pints, and I was like, I cannot do this serving anymore. Like, I would, can you find me a job in banking? And then she texted me the next morning and she's like, oh, absolutely. Like, come down, at the time it was TD Bank. And she's like,
Mhm.
come down to TD Bank in Winter Park and, fill out this job application. She's like, it's not going to be full time. It'll be part time. You'll have to do a few interviews. And that was my first real introduction to like a real job. Like, of course, serving is a real job, but I mean, like a professional type atmosphere.
Corporate. Yeah.
Corporate. Yeah. Corporate America. And so I was 19, took a job. It was $11 an hour, part-time customer service. And I had already moved out of my my mom's house. So I had my own apartment, my own bills. And so I couldn't, pay my bills on that. So I had to pull two more bartending and serving jobs at night when I was working at TD Bank. So I was working 3 jobs when I first got into banking. But it was kind of like a short-term thing because Amy, I honestly, when I started in banking, it was a sales role. And I was like, if I could just hit my numbers consistently, like they'll move me up, move me up the ladder. And so 6 months later, I got a full-time position. And then shortly after that, Amy left and went to another bank. And she's like, hey, sit tight. I'm going to bring you over with me because I'm going to pay you a lot more money here.
Right.
And so in the banking world is actually, a lot of people don't know this, but like the big banks are, well, they're horrible. A lot of us know that, but they're, when it comes to pay and opportunity, they're pretty bad too. Like they're on the lower end of the scale. So she
Yeah.
went to a community bank called Bank United. And so I went from I followed her over there. So about a month after she went to Bank United, she brought me over. And that was like my first intro to business banking. So I went from like the retail side to now doing small business. And so that was a whole new world. I was still 19 when I started doing that. I was making more money, but I had no idea what I was doing because I'd never done a business loan in my life. And so I just had to kind of quickly learn the ropes. And honestly, YouTube has been like a learning resource for me for so many things, even dating back to my banking career. Because
Wow.
if I didn't know anything about business lending, I'd go on there and just watch videos about like how to, do cash flow, how to run cash flow, how to determine people's, debt to income and their net operating income. And so I did a lot of self teaching on YouTube, but I did really well in that role, made a lot of money. But I hated corporate America. Like even though I was technically like kind of an outside sales role, like I got to leave my office and go network and go knock on doors. I still had to come back and I still had to like plug all those calls into some sheet for someone else to review and tell me if it was good or not. And, you still had quarterly reviews. So,
Right. Hmm.
but I only stayed in my banking jobs. Like I worked for 4 different banks over the course of 7 years. So they were kind of quick turns and I was always just looking for more money. My last position in that world was actually with a private equity company out of St. Louis, and they found me on LinkedIn. And I was 22. I was at the time at that point I was managing a bank in downtown Orlando, a very small community bank that I was a branch manager of. And this third party recruiter, found me on LinkedIn, and he said, "Hey, I have a job for you where you'll be, an SBA lender for the whole Southeast region of the United States. Do you want to fly up to St. Louis and do an interview?" And people on LinkedIn reach out all the time. So I'm like, oh gosh, I'm not qualified for that. Like there's no way I would ever get that position. But I said, sure. Like I've never said no to any opportunity because I feel like that's the way that you grow. If you just keep saying yes to things that could potentially land you somewhere, like eventually
Right.
something's going to stick.
Yeah.
So I said yes to that. They flew me out to St. Louis. They put me up in a Ritz-Carlton. I did my little interview and they hired me and I doubled my salary and I worked in that position for over 2 years. During that time, I got pregnant I got married and I got pregnant with Parker, who's now 7.
Yeah.
And I was flying all over the Southeast because I was doing business lending for companies that were in Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama. And so when I got pregnant, that really made me start thinking like, okay, how am I going to really manage this lifestyle? Because at the time, my husband was in the military. And so he had just gone into basic training. And so it was like, how am I going to be a mom and be traveling and have a husband that's in the military? And so that's how I found my first business.
Well, that's kind of that's usually, I can't say usually, but that's a lot of the ways it happens. I mean, my mom was a school teacher, and my parents, when they adopted me, said, "Okay, I got to stay home now, but I can't lose money." And then she found this little business called Amway, and
Wow, really?
yeah, she was a diamond in Amway. So
Wow.
she was a rock star. We actually, so funny. Two things. Number one, you just proved a very great point. You don't need college to become what
Right.
you want to become. I mean, look, YouTube taught you everything, right? I
Yeah,
mean, just reading and watching videos. Why not, right? That's an awesome fact. Kids save you money.
for sure,
Start
especially
learning.
now.
Yeah, start learning for free. And then I had a guy on the show three shows ago. He's a big shot in Amway. I don't remember what level he's at, but and I was kind of bragging on you because I just seen your post how you were like number 8 in the nation in your new business.
Yeah.
And so all right, now this is Brittany who I was bragging about when I was talking to Anthony a couple weeks ago, everybody. So there you go. So I got her on the show because not only have I've known her, as I said, 14 years. She's like, a daughter to me. So it's like I'm proud to follow her and see her
Thank you.
just go and go and go. And I'm like, I knew one of the things I look for when I'm interviewing somebody. First of all, it doesn't always have to do with looks, but that really helps. And because when you have client come in a restaurant, you want them, do
Yeah.
you want me serving you or do you want someone very attractive? Obviously. And then the other thing I look for is the old saying, bootstraps. You grab them by the bootstraps and go. And I mean, it was her first serving job, and she's like, "I'll do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter." I remember
Mhm.
you wanted to get trained behind the bar. I think I trained you behind the bar too,
Yeah,
if I'm
you
not
did, yeah.
mistaken. And Megan, who's actually
Yes.
married to my friend Steve, and so I mean, it's so funny that I've gotten to watch your kids, get born and you get
Yeah.
married, or you got married, then your kids, and then work up. And I know we've stayed in touch, and you've had several different businesses, and every single one that I've ever seen you do, and you're going to walk through them all. Obviously, we're going to go down the path, but every single one, you've become the rock star in that business. So it's just another super proud, not your dad,
Thank
but dad
you.
moment. You know what I'm saying? So
I
tell us,
think,
tell us about this. You had your baby, and you're like,
yeah.
I got to make money.
Yeah. Well, I had to make money and I didn't want to be in a position, even though I will say that was the best job I ever had because I was, it was the most traveling I'd ever done. And, but I was pregnant and he was in the military and I knew I wanted to be home with Parker. But to be honest, like I didn't like go actively seeking a business. I was just kind of sitting there in like oh crap, what am I going to do type like mentality where I was paralyzed and I was talking to my mom all the time, about what I was going to do. And, so at this point, I had flown to Kansas because my ex-husband now, but he was my husband at the time. He had gotten out of the military, not out of the military. He got out of basic training and he went to Fort Riley in Kansas. And so I knew, obviously we were just married, so I ended up moving to Kansas. That was
I
in
remember, yeah.
2017. Yeah.
Yep.
And but I was still working this job at the private equity firm, and they just moved my region, and it was all going great. And I was just slowly getting more and more pregnant. Actually, the last flight that I took for that company, I was 36 weeks pregnant with Parker, and I had flown to Asheville because I had a big deal to close, and that's when I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much. But prior to that, so let's back up. I get pregnant. I'm on social media. I'm just like super, super, super tired. I see my friend post this product called Thrive, and it's like something for energy. And I'm like, there's no way this can work. But I'm obviously feeling like horrible because I'm, tired. I have the hormones going. So I reached out. I asked her, is it safe while I'm pregnant and all that jazz? And she's like, yep. So I started. I tried it, and I just fell in love with the product. Now I was historically the type of person that would never buy something from someone online, or if I saw a Mary Kay rep and they're trying to sell me makeup, like I was always the MLM or direct sales like hater because I just didn't understand the industry. In fact, my mom bought Advocare products my whole life and I refused to try them my whole life when I was in high school because I'm like, oh, that's a bunch of like, it's like snake oil. It's not, it doesn't really work. People are just trying to make money off you.
Right.
That was my mentality. But this girl that I saw posting, so she was my Facebook friend for several years, and I had watched her go from working at, what is it, Francesco's in Maitland, the Italian restaurant. I watched her go from working there to, I see a picture of her and her husband jumping up in front of a Cadillac Escalade in front of this big house like 2 years later, and I'm like, clearly there has to be something to this product because she's changed her life in 2 years. So I bought it from her only because she offered me a huge discount. So I was like, sure, I'll buy the product. Bought it, fell in love with it. And obviously the first person I text, I'm like, Mom, you've been taking this Advocare stuff, since I was in high school. You've got to try what I have. It's going to knock it out of the park. And my mom's like, no way. I was just a customer. So I never even considered doing a business out of direct selling. But so my mom's like, well, bring it over. I'll try it. I brought her the product. And my mom the next day texts me. She's like, oh my gosh, this stuff is the bomb. And she's like, I want more of it. I want to buy it. And I have friends that want to buy. So I went back to the girl that I bought from. I'm like, hey, I have a bunch of people I can refer you. Maybe I can get some discounts, if I refer you a bunch of people. And she's like, well, why would you refer them to me? Like, you can just click a button, become a promoter is what they called it. And you can start selling Thrive too. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to sell Thrive. Like, I'm not going to be that person that's on social media. It's so funny thinking back to this because I was just such a different person than I am now. But I was not going to be that girl on social media posting anything to do with like an MLM product. And she's like, okay, that's fine. Just flip, have your mom order, get her a couple of friends to order, and then that's it. And you can earn some commission and you'll earn free product. I'm like, sure. So I flipped to promoter, get those 3 people. And she calls me, the girl that I signed up with, her name was Danny. And she's like, hey, you're 1 order away from, $800 bonus. Like, you might as well just go get 1 more. And that was the end of it. It was like, as soon as I knew that like there were these milestones that you could hit and you could actually make real money, that's when I was like, wow, okay, if I can get 1 more person, I'm going to make $800. At the time, my mortgage was $800. This is back in the good old days.
Yeah.
But my mortgage was $800. So I'm like, I can make my mortgage payment. So anyways, that's what really made me stop and say, okay, there might be something to this. And so that's kind of where it all started. That was 2017. And I would say October 2017 is when I really started hitting the ground running with it. And back then, I'm sure like you, because we've been friends throughout this whole time, but back then I didn't have like a big social media following. I didn't have like,
Right.
I think at Instagram, I might've had 200 or 300 followers. On Facebook, I had, I want to say 600 or 700 friends. My whole feed at the time was like me sharing recipe videos because I would always cook. And it was me sharing pictures of my horse because I rode horses.
Yep.
And so I wasn't this like, social media influencer, but I really liked this stuff. And literally everything started from my phone. So once I got my mom and her 3 friends, I just started going through my contact list. I'm like, hey, I have this product. You're going to love it. Let me drop off a sample. Hey, I have this product. You're going to love it. Let me drop. And so that's how I really grew my business in the beginning, was from my phone and my contact list, because I didn't really have a big social media following. Now, I was blessed because the job that I was working, I was remote and I could drive and drop off samples all day long and not really have a boss on my back. So I did have that advantage. But other than that, it was just, I grinded it out. And within 4 months, I had never done anything like this. And within 4 months, we hit the top rank in the company. And we were doing over $200,000 in vitamin sales a month. And then I went on to, in that company, I went on to be the youngest millionaire in 2 years. So within 2 years, I made $1 million. Yeah,
Amazing.
it was wild. And that was my first run. I did that company for 8 years. I mean, everything about it was amazing. I have nothing bad to say about it. We went on all the trips. Like, they would send you to the Caribbean for free. They'd send you all around the United States for free. But in this business, and this is, I think a lot of people have this stigma. I would think the one thing I would want people to take from this tonight is to break the stereotype of direct sales, because a lot of people have a stereotype about it where they think that, well, a couple things. They think that only people at the top can make money.
Right.
And they think it's a pyramid scheme. And so, I've learned a lot over my, 8 years in this. And the first thing is that, if you flip a pyramid upside down, so if you flip this and you flip it upside down, that's actually what direct sales is, because you can bring as many people to the top as you want. There is, it's that's what's cool about it, is that there's the equal opportunity, equal advantage for anybody, like the little person, the little guy who didn't go to college, or the little guy who, maybe just wasn't succeeding in corporate America. If you have the right tools, and YouTube is a really good tool for direct sales. Let me tell you, there's Tony Robinson and Eric Worre taught me everything I knew about direct sales. I had no idea what I was doing my whole first couple years in this, and I made $1 million because I was up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, literally watching Eric Worre videos. Like, these paychecks were hitting my account, and I'm like, I couldn't even believe it. I was like, there's no way I'm making this kind of money. But they taught me everything you need to know, which is, one, that pyramid schemes are, first off, they're illegal. Like, you have to, if you have a viable product and you're selling a product, that's not a pyramid scheme. A pyramid scheme is you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it's this whole operation.
Right.
And then there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, that only people at the top can that make money. So first off, if you have a reverse pyramid, everybody can get to the top. But it's crazy how many people that I've met along the way that were middle ranks, that they weren't, they didn't have massive amounts of customers, but they had built teams, they had led people to be successful, and they were still making, crazy amounts of money. So it's just, if you have good leadership skills and you have drive, I feel like this is an industry for everybody. But I just went on a tangent. But anyways, let's reel it back.
Well, let me ask you a question, and we'll go on. What makes Brittany grind?
Ooh, like, what's my why?
Yeah. What gets you up every day? Let's take out money out of the picture. Let's take out them fancy cars I see you posting pictures of all the time, because you get a new car, it seems like, every other week. And let's take out that. And of course, your kids, obviously family is the most important thing. But before you had all that, you decided to do this because you wanted to make money, obviously. Mm-hmm. But then once you got it, what kept you just driving to become success?
Honestly, I have an insane fear of going broke. And I know it sounds crazy, but when I was younger, so I grew up during the 06, 07, 08 era. I was in high school during that, and my dad was a prominent real estate developer. Okay. So I grew up, through 15, I grew up a very, very nice lifestyle, and my dad was extremely successful. And then I watched my dad go from a multi-millionaire to literally losing everything in a matter of 6 months. And so that caused my, whole family turmoil. Like, my parents got divorced. That's actually why we moved back from Lake County to Lake Mary, because my parents got divorced. But seeing that and living through that at that age where you're just going into like adulthood, I think kind of traumatized me a little bit. I mean, it was traumatic, but it also taught me that, because I watched my dad after that. I watched him like start over and rebuild. And so I think I just got that work ethic from living through that at an age where I was really vigilant and really paying attention to what was going on. And also, once I got pregnant and I had my son, that was really a motivator, is that I experienced with being in business, and entrepreneurship has given me a level of time freedom that you can never get from corporate America. And once you get a taste of that, I think it's really hard to go back.
Sure.
And I've had a lot of failures along the way too. Like, I made a lot of money in Lavelle, but then, as you said, I went into other ventures and I lost a lot of money too. And so it's kind of been one of those things where they always say, it's never a straight upward path. And a lot of times, most of the time, it's up and then straight down and then up again. And that's been kind of the trajectory of my life for 8 years. So
what was, out of all the business ventures, and you don't have to name it, but what was probably your worst, and you go, all right, I've learned from that and that'll never happen again?
Insurance. I lost over $100,000 in insurance, and that was in 2023. And it was horrible. So didn't you do life insurance, or, because I know we
had talked about it, and I was at a place where I was 23. Oh no, I'm where I'm at now. So I'm successful where I am. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
I've watched some of my friends do it, Matter of fact, my co-host, which I was just here tonight, he did it for a little while, and you see the grind and you just see what it does to you. And sure, people make money in it. Don't I know there's
Hmm.
without a doubt, my best friend was in it for a long time, and his uncle who owned the agency he worked for was a multimillionaire, but
Hmm.
he never got a taste of that. He was out working on, burnt leads and dead
Right.
leads and the recycled and blah blah blah, so it just that kind of, and I probably would be good at that in real estate because I just love, me, I love to talk to everybody and
Yeah.
try and, and I like bottom line. I'm a bottom line guy. I want to see how much I'm going to make, and let's do
Yeah.
this right now. It just never appealed to me.
It's
It was
miserable.
if me my personal sales slogan is if I don't believe in it, I can't sell it.
Yeah.
Now, there's people out there who can sell anything, and I probably could, but I'm not shady. I'm gonna sell what I believe in.
Right.
I can say, I have $100,000 truck in my driveway. I can sell you that because I have one. So it
Right.
doesn't hurt my feelings to do that. Your bank account doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
That sounds that way. But if I'm, one of the things I remember when we looked at, I was raised MLM. I'm an Amway baby all
Hmm.
my life. I grew up on drinking LOC and getting washed in SA8 and all that stuff. And I probably would be very successful at it, right?
You
But
would.
I've dived into a couple different MLMs, and one of them that really irritated me was one that I really, really liked. I liked the product. I actually really liked it. It was a weight loss company, and I didn't lose any weight with it, so I was like, "Okay, maybe it's just a delicious shake," but whatever. But the guy who signed me up, what turned me off was the guy who signed my wife up actually for the biggest package they had. It was like
Mm.
500 bucks or whatever it was to get in. Only for me to find out that he had only signed up for the $38 package, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Nah, it doesn't work for me, man." Stuff like that. So, you
And that's
know
that's what gives that industry a bad reputation.
right, because
Things
everybody's
like
chasing the dragon. It's like I tell everybody in the car business, they're like, "Why'd you leave the car business?" I said, "Look, man, when you're an addict, when you realize you gotta break the addiction." They're like, "What do you mean?" I said, "The car business is no different than being a heroin addict because 'cause you're chasing the dragon all day long. That's
that. Yeah.
all you do is look at your last sale is as good as your best sale was your last sale,
Yeah.
and it's down the road. So what are you doing for me now?" And then I had gotten to the pinnacle. I was a GM, and I was just like, enough's enough. I'm done. I'm working more than anybody else. And
Right.
so, that's the way if I was to get into one, that's the way I would have to go head on. I'd have to find the product that I like,
Hmm.
a product that I could stand behind, and a product that if someone saw me using it, like I tell everybody, we got the best weight loss product. Look, man, if I lose weight, trust me, I'll be a millionaire because everybody's going to want it because they're going to be like, all right, Zach lost weight, right? So, that's just how I am. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not. I have to sleep with myself, you
Yeah.
know. So I am not by any means going to sell snake oil. Now,
Exactly.
in 1994, I lived in Texas, and we got in a business called XL, which was a long distance company. Well, you wouldn't even know about it because we have cell phones now. Back then, we had regular house phones, and we sold. And basically, it was a CLIC, which is an outside carrier, kind of like AT&T and all those, but it was a discounted carrier, and people would get super discounted rates. And I would basically just call my friends in Jersey. I was living in Texas, and I call everybody. I'd be like, "Hey, if I could save you money and it would make me money, but not cost you a dime, would you switch your phone service?" Heck yeah, show
Yeah.
me how. And they'd sign right up, and I did really well at it. And then the invention of the cell phone came out, and long distance went out the window, so it
Yeah.
didn't matter. But something like that, it was tangible. It was something that I could prove, and it
Right.
didn't cost anybody to do anything. So, yeah, that's fun. I'm also my biggest failure. Me, I'm a lazy salesman. If you don't give me leads, I don't go nowhere.
Yeah.
So that car business spoiled me because people just walk on the lot.
They walk in the door. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but that being said, so you were with, if I remember correctly, Lviv, right? Is that how you say
Lavelle.
it? Lavelle,
Yep.
Level, right? It's like
Yep.
level, but Lavelle. Okay. Was it a patch?
So it was 3 steps. It was capsule, shake, and then a patch, a DFT
Okay.
patch, and that's
Yeah, I
kind of what
remember that.
we're known
So you
for.
did that, and then
Yeah.
you left them, and who did you go to? Or what did you do
So,
next?
well, so in between, so like I was with him for over 8 years, and so I did like a bunch of other things in between. That's when I ran for office, and then
Yeah, we're gonna talk about politics in a little bit.
yeah, I ran for office. I did the insurance thing, and a lot of that was out of boredom, but also in Lavelle, it was a very inconsistent ride. So my first 2 years were amazing. Third year, still really, really good. And then the last five, it was really like during COVID. It was like 2020 and on. It got really bumpy. So that's when I started trying to, pivot into other things. But I didn't want to leave and go to another MLM company because again, I was not the type of person that wanted to even do MLM to begin with. And I'll be honest, I poured every ounce of like my entire existence into Lavelle because you do
I
get to a
remember.
point if you're actually like wanting to make if you actually want to make money in most MLM companies, you have to you have to duplicate leadership, but the problem is that 9 times out of 10 leadership is not going to duplicate. So you are, the top of your organization, you're going to have level fives and level sixes and level sevens that are looking to you for support because they don't have anybody in between they're not stepping up to help them. And
Right.
so it becomes to a point, I had over 50,000 people in my organization at Lavelle. So I had people, I was a nonstop phone ringing. It was just this. Like my kid, like I just was completely checked out. I just was literally always on social media, always in Messenger, always on Zoom calls, and never stopped. And I'm so grateful for it. It was a blessing, but it just became a lot. So when I pivoted, I was, looking for something that was not going to be that. And so that's when I met these guys in insurance and and they saw me and they were like dollar signs and they owned their own lead company. So what do you think they did? They sold me a bunch of leads. I like invested so much money into leads because they're like the more you spend the more that you make. And like I'm not gonna lie, I made really good money, but what they don't tell you is that they say 30% of your business is going to charge back. Well, when you're doing telesales, I'd venture to say it's more like 60% of your business is going to charge back. And if you don't have the back end support, you don't have like an assistant that works for you that's doing calls to do the chargebacks, like it's like you were just saying about car sales, that you're only as good as your last sale because it's a quick commission. So you're making, 90 or 100% of the annual premium, but that's it, because the residuals on life insurance are very low. So when you need to go in the office and grind and on your leads to get that next sale, but then you have 15, 20 chargebacks that you also need to chase down. It was so much. So it was the most stressful year of my life. I had more health issues than I've ever had. Like it was terrible. But but that's not really what screwed me in that. It was the fact that I had built a team because that's what I'm good at. And I was told, if you build a team, that's how you get to a point where you don't have to work all the time.
Right.
'Cause I was working 12, 14-hour days in life insurance, but I've never been scared of that. I'm like, if I will work that, if you tell me I can make $500,000 a year, if I do this for a year, I'll do that for a year. And so I did it for a year, and did not make $500,000, but I had built a team of 25 agents. Another huge, huge risk, and this is like, yes, you can make millions of dollars in life insurance. What they don't tell you is you inherit the risk of every agent that you bring in. Meaning, if they write a bunch of bad business and they leave and they don't pay those chargebacks,
It's your
well,
business. Yeah.
it's your business. You inherit it,
Right.
and you have to pay back. So I paid back over $50,000 in bad debt, and that I got out, and I was done, and thank God I got out of that. But yeah, so I didn't leave. I wasn't looking for another MLM company. I tried pivoting into other things, and I just couldn't. Honestly, I think I'm just meant to be in direct sales. So May of this year. So yeah, 6 months ago, I was 38 weeks pregnant with my third baby, and I got a message from this girl Genevieve. She lives in Palm Beach Gardens, and we connected actually through politics, and we just followed each other through politics. I knew she did direct sales, but she never tried to directly recruit me until in May. She sent me a message. It was a voice memo. And she said, "Hey, I know you're probably extremely happy with where you're at and your company. I know you've been there a long time. I know you've had a lot of success, but you are someone that I would just love to work with. And you're someone that I, could see having a lot of success with in this business. And so if I would just love the opportunity to do a Zoom call with you and show you the opportunity that I have." And honestly, it was like any other day I would have said no. I don't know what it was. I just was like, sure. Like I have nothing to lose. Like and now this is bad. So in May I was still with Lavelle, but my checks were like, I was used to like 2018, 2019, I was making 5 figures a week. My checks had dropped to all the way down to like 1,000 or 2,000 a week at this point in my business. And I won't lie, like a lot of that has to do, I think, with the fact that I was looking for pivots. I wasn't focusing all of my energy, but I was MLM burnt out. I
Sure.
was done. And so anyways, I got on a Zoom call with her, and she is with a company called Melaleuca, and that's a company that I never ever would look at, because it's been around for 40 years, kind of like Amway. Like I kind of have like the stereotype for different MLM companies. When I joined Lavelle, they were 5 years old, and I was told that if you join in the first 5 years, you make all the money. And
Right.
so I had this like, stigma in my mind. I'm like, well, they've been around for 40 years. There's no way people are actually joining now and making money. And so we got on a Zoom, and I made her show me everything, like all the numbers, the back office reports, the retention. That was the first thing I wanted to see, because in Lavelle, my retention was never north of 50%. And what would happen is, and this is where MLM gets a bad rep too, is that if a company goes really heavy on the distributor side and they're not heavy on the customer side, that pretty much tells you that all of their sales are coming from people that are selling it. So a real business comes from people that also are like, if majority of your business comes from people that are just buying your products because they love it, not people that are selling it. And
Right.
that's when she showed me the statistics with Melaleuca, how 82% of people are just shoppers, have never referred a person in their life. And then the other 18% are people that have referred business. I'm like, wow, that's really telling, because it was definitely not like that at Lavelle. So, and that was in May. I did a Zoom call with her. I bought some products. Another thing that I really liked is that it was the first company I'd ever seen where they're not selling something to you 3 times like the price just because they have to pay downline commissions. Most MLM companies' products are marked up so much because they have to pay, 6 to 8 levels of commissions on that one product. So they're gonna, charge $150 for something that really, should cost, let's say, 50 or even
Right.
less.
Sure.
And with Melaleuca, I'm like, the stuff that I was looking at, I'm like, wow, these products are cheaper than what I'm buying on Amazon or Target. And they're clean, non-toxic. The biggest thing for me is they're a patriotic company. The 2 podcasts that they sponsor are Tucker Carlson Network and Candace Owens podcast. So I'm like, these are my people. And so yeah, so I bought the products, and made my big debut, my big announcement. The first week of June is when I really launched with Melaleuca, and closed the
I
chapter.
remember you doing kind of soft surprise videos. It was something's coming, it's something big, and I was like, okay, what's Brittany doing now?
Yeah. Well, it was soft because honestly, I was like, gosh, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to build all over again? I was 38 weeks pregnant. Like I was about to have a baby in 2 weeks. Or no, I was 36 weeks. Yeah, I was 36 weeks pregnant, because when I was in the hospital in July, I got my biggest check with Melaleuca, and I was like, this was it was just, it all worked out. It was all meant to be. But at the time I was scared because I'm like, oh my gosh, am I really going to commit to like building again? But it's just a completely different animal here. And it's,
Well, it is funny from watching you, and I sound like a stalker, but obviously you go through my feed, so it's not like that. But from seeing you, that is the one thing I've noticed, that you are a true team builder, because everywhere you go, all I see is you promoting your girls.
yeah.
And it's always like, oh my gosh, this girl's doing that, and this, it's like, that's awesome. That, and you're promoting your new Lexus, or your new
Yeah, that's that. Well, so I had to buy that with Lavelle because with their auto bonus, it expires every 5 years. So your car phases out, and then you have to go buy a new car. So I'm like,
right.
well,
Yeah, I think, yeah, every 5 years you get a new car, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do they specifically do Lexuses, or do you have choices?
It's any luxury brand pretty much. So Lexus, Porsche, Range Rover, BMW, Cadillac, Mercedes, Audi. So I had a Lexus was my first one that I got, and then I had 2 Audis, and then now I have my Lexus. And honestly, I don't like it.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm kind of stuck
Uh,
with it for a little bit.
yeah. Let's go back to something you said that was really interesting, that you look for a company that is more customer based. And the realization it hit me is a lot of the MLMs I have looked at in the past, one of the biggest turnoffs is the auto ship.
Yeah.
Then you're stuck, and all of a sudden, all right, every month I got to spend $150 on a product that I haven't even finished yet, and now I got to buy more,
Yeah.
and then my whole garage is full of it, and I don't even want this crap,
Mhm.
And that was the one thing that I really liked. So go back to my mom being an Amway. She actually started out door to door selling soap. She was the soap lady. Everybody knew her in my town, and she did great. But she never had to buy the products to fill our garage.
Yeah.
She had a distributor she'd go to buy from, and then she'd go out and sell it, and she'd make her commission or whatever it was. And the other turnoff, like you said, is a lot of these products are way overpriced.
Mhm.
Like, I can get a box of detergent for, 18, $20, whatever it is at the store nowadays. And they're selling you this one because it's the best for
Mhm.
$50.
Right.
No, it's $50 because I got to pay everybody below me who's,
Exactly.
yeah. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So with Melaleuca, and if they want to sponsor us, we can have them on the show.
Yeah, right?
With Melaleuca, they they're more customer based. So the products you're saying are what everybody needs every day, and
Yeah.
it's affordable. It's not something you get roped into that you got to buy every month.
So they're daily household essentials. Now here's how they keep the price low. So Melaleuca is a membership based business, kind of like Thrive Market or Amazon Prime or
Sure,
Costco. So the
sure.
membership is anywhere from $1 to $19 for the whole year. And then members shop 35 points a month. So you log in and you shop. So 35 points equates to about $75 or $80 a month worth of stuff.
Okay.
Now, when you think about what we have, like think about walking into a Walgreens, a CVS, or a Target. Like it's literally everything from food to nutrition to laundry to cleaning to supplements to hair care, hygiene, baby. I mean, we have everything. So it's really easy. Like my family on average does about 200 points, and that's us not stocking things just to stock them. Like I will say with Lavelle, when I closed that chapter, I had 28 bags of shakes. I'll never forget because I was going through my cupboard and I'm like, why did I have 28 bags of shakes? And it's because they would do promos. And and another reason MLMs has a bad rep is because when you're pushing for a rank or you're pushing for a bonus and you come this close, you're going to spend that extra money to get it. And
Sure.
I was constantly doing that, constantly chasing that bonus or that next rank, and putting out money to make money. Which I do think that there is, to a certain extent, you do have to spend a little bit of spend some money to make money. But yeah, so here it's a membership. So you shop 35 points a month, but you have complete control over that membership. You can pause it or cancel it at any time. So it's not like you're locked in. But again, it's products that people are using. Whereas where I came from, I was in the nutritional space. The first thing you have to like to keep your business growing, you're depending on people not only to buy your products, but to actually use them and stay, consistent with it. And when you're trying to get someone to make a lifestyle change, that's hard. I mean, even when I
Right.
started using Thrive, the girl that signed me up was like texting me every day. She's like, "Did you take it yet? Did you take it yet?" If she didn't do that, I probably wouldn't have, because it's hard to create a new routine. And I love that here we're not waiting on people to create a new routine. We're just like, do you brush your teeth? Do you wear deodorant? Do you wash your hair? Do you do your laundry? Cool, you can shop here. Like it's all things to all people. And some people look down on that because they're like, oh, you need a niche to be successful. No, you need a product that people buy and use to be successful.
100. And whatever that widget is, if everybody needs it and uses it, then it is what it
Exactly.
is. I mean, look at the guy who invented Scotch tape. I mean,
Right.
everybody uses it. It's not a glamorous product. It's
Right.
Scotch tape. So that makes a lot of sense. And it's kind of funny because Amazon, I got beef with them because the Amazon driver knows my wife by her first name. So, but I get suckered in to save that 35 cents on the subscription. And then I'm like, what? We have 12 bottles of
Yeah.
CoQ10. What the heck do I need 12 bottles for? I just needed one a month. And then I forget to cancel it. And then like I have stuff, all of a sudden I'll look in and I'll be like, oh, we don't need it anymore. Quick, cancel, and I'm like, I don't want to have to deal with that,
Yeah.
you know? And
I never
so
used that. You're talking about the subscribe and save, right?
yes,
Yeah.
I use it all the time, and I'm terrible because I'm like, I'm not gonna. They offered it to me on shoes. I'm like, I'm buying a pair of sneakers. It was a they have really great deals on the sneakers I wear. I like Brooks,
Oh yeah.
and and they were like, you could get subscribe and save. And I'm like, what the frick do I need subscribe and save? My sneakers last me like 10 years. I mean, I wear other shoes for work, so it's not like my sneakers look brand new, for they're a year old. So what I don't need
Yeah.
subscribe and save, but people fall for it, I'm like, me actually, my friend Daniel, who is a big he's a big guest on this show, and he's a big real estate guru, and he's not a realtor, he's a flipper, and he does wholesaling,
Oh,
and
that's
does
cool.
he's very successful at it, very, to the point where he's about to buy his second RV because they're going to just go on the road and rent out one RV and rent out their house and just go live on the road because he does everything from his computer. He runs all his teams. But we were talking about it, and he's like, "Bro, I'm the worst." He goes, "I have so many things on subscription, and I get them, and I go and I forget to cancel them, and I got closets full of this." And I'm like, "Oh, let me walk you through my pantry right now and show you all." Because Lorianne and I take a lot of vitamins. We're very,
Yeah.
very health conscious. We take a lot of good stuff. Lorianne, thank God, her best friend is Dr. Chat GBT, and she'll look up stuff, and she'll go, that's garbage. You're not buying it. I'll see something like the big craze is that blue methylene or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I was checking out the gummies. I'm like, all right, maybe I'll try them out. She's like, nope,
No.
it's garbage. You don't need it. You take half the stuff that's in it already. She goes, and we don't need your PB and blue, so it's okay. I said, all right, fair enough. So, stuff like that. But I got hooked on animal organs. I will not eat them, but they have them in pills.
Yeah.
So, I'll take them, and they're real good. And I did a lot of research on those companies. Again, though, I subscribe to them and I forget, and they
So you
send
have
them to
a
me.
ton of them.
She doesn't like them because she says they sit, right here. She can feel it all day, so she won't take them. So I would double up because, we'll split it 50-50. And then now I'm like, I don't need that many. Oh my gosh, I got to go in and cancel it. I've got
Yeah.
a year supply of thyroid or whatever the heck it is, and I'm like,
Right.
So yeah. So with Melaleuca, I guess the point I'm getting at, you don't have the subscribe and save button. You just buy every month what you need. So it's
Yeah.
like basically going to the grocery store.
Yeah, you just buy exactly. That's what it is. You just buy what you need. Now, that I would say, like, the one thing you have to do is you have to get in the habit of like keeping tabs on what you're running low on. Because obviously you want to shop like once a month. But I mean, I shop sometimes 2 or 3 times a month. But it's not a subscription. Yes, it's a membership, but all you do is you pick up the phone, you call customer service. If you don't want to, order 1 month, you just say, hey, pause me. I'm good for the month. And then to reactivate, you just log back in and order. And you
Well, I
get
mean,
reminders.
I had a business membership to Costco, and we moved, and we're nowhere near Costco. And it was like 2 years I'm paying for it. And I'm like, when was the last time we went to Costco? And my wife's
Yeah,
like, first of all, most of the kids have moved out. We don't need bulk toilet paper. We don't
exactly.
need, so we had to cancel that, which saddens me because I do love Costco.
Yeah.
But so, all right, Melaleuca's products, are they a wholesaler, kind of like Amazon? They sell, or do they make their own
They
products?
make their own products. So you're shopping directly from the manufacturer. So we manufacture everything here in the US. The only thing that is manufactured outside of the US is a mascara brush, and it's manufactured in Italy. Literally
I
everything.
don't have a problem with Italy, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, same. No, they're super aware of who they do business with, but no, everything's manufactured here in the U.S. And about 2 years ago, this is before I joined, is when they. So first off, the founder, his name's Frank Vandersloot. He's the richest man in Idaho. He owns a huge cattle farm out there. He's a cattle farmer by trade, and he opened up his ranch to do like commercial beef subscription. So that is a subscription. So he has what's called Riverbend Ranch. They added that about 2 years ago. I'm having a lot of success with that because a lot of people are waking up to, all the stuff that's in the grocery store meat and where it's coming from, and not even knowing where it's coming from
Right.
or what's in it. And so that's been a huge seller for me. And the pricing is actually better. Jake and I, so that's the only thing is that it's a subscription. We ordered fillets enough for us, but we had friends over a couple weeks ago and we wanted them to try it. We only had 2 left. So we're like, okay, we have to go to Publix and get fillets. I could not believe, because it's been so long since I shopped at Publix for fillets. It was 36.99 a pound
Sure.
for filet. I didn't realize it's gone up that much.
Oh yeah. Well, you must have been looking at Wagyu or something, but you know.
No, that was just the standard filet. It was thirty six
Well,
ninety nine a pound.
to be honest with you, we get chop box or something. I don't one of those. My
Oh
wife,
yeah, butcher box. Yeah,
yeah, butcher. But I don't remember which ones you get. But so like at Christmas, we got a big box because we knew everybody was coming over, so we got a bunch of ribeyes, and you
yeah.
know, I don't even know what we pay for it versus the store, but she did the math
The
and
research.
figured
Yeah,
it was she did women math. No, she did the math and figured out it was a better deal than the only place that I've ever really found a really great deal, to be honest, on meat is Costco. So
yeah,
I'm a big ribeye guy, and you get the tenderloin where the ribeye comes from. You buy the whole thing, and then you have the butcher chop it, and you'll get like 14 steaks for 75
really.
bucks or whatever. Oh yeah, that's the
Wow.
best way to now. That was years ago. I haven't been to Costco in a long time, so I don't know what their
Yeah,
tenderloin costs now. But obviously, it's probably still a better deal.
right.
I remember the first time we went in, we got this big. I don't remember how pound it was, but and the guy got 14 steaks out of it, and I'm like,
That's awesome.
14 steaks would have cost me $300, and I just bought this for 75, and he cut it for me. So
Yeah,
that's a heck of a deal. So yeah, I mean, and I don't have a problem with a subscription like to meat because I'm going to eat it.
right.
Like we get Lorian loves those Paleo Valley beef sticks.
Oh yeah, we have beef
Yeah.
sticks. Good.
And they're good for you. They're healthy. They're all natural. No hormones or anything like that. And so we have a subscription to that because they eat it every day. She has one in her lunch. So
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that because it's something we're going to use.
consumable. Yeah, that you're
Right.
eating.
And
Yeah.
it goes away. It's not like we don't finish it off in a month. The problem is
Right.
I'll get a big bottle of pills and forget that I didn't click it for 3 months. I clicked it for 1 month, and then I get another big bottle. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm never going to be able to finish these things. And so, all right, they're the manufacturer. How is their vitamins and their nutritional supplies?
So all their nutritional stuff that I use, so they do 4 independent clinical studies on all of their nutritional products, which is huge for me coming from a nutritional company.
Right.
The company I came from, we never ran one clinical study in the 8 years that I was there, and we were really selling a feeling. We were selling, oh, you're going to feel better and you're going to have more energy. I love that here they actually do the tests. So they've done heart studies, and we have so many testimonies to people that were on high blood pressure medication or on high cholesterol medication, and they've completely come off of it. Thyroid medication that they take. Our number one bundle is called Peak Performance, and we have a variation of it depending on your age and your gender. If you have we have one that's specific for heart health, if you have heart issues, one that's specific for brain and
Sure.
neuroprotective issues. But I love them. I will say that, it's supplements. So for me, I came from a product where it did give me a lot of energy because it was loaded with caffeine and B12. Here, I mean, I feel great, but I can't say that it's supplements. I think I take them just because it's clinically proven to improve, markers on your blood work. But yeah, so I take the Peak Performance. I take Nutritherm, which is a stimulant-free fat burner. And then I take Focus
Girl, you weigh
AB.
like 12 pounds. Stop it,
Well,
fat.
listen, I just had a baby, so
Okay. All right. I'll give you that much.
so
Okay.
I had 30 pounds to lose. But and then I take the methyl B vitamins just because those are good for your brain and for your nervous system. And then I take Luminex, which is saffron, and saffron's really good for mental health and just feeling overall a sense of wellness. I started that about 2 weeks ago, so I can't really tell you on that one. But no, I love them. We have it'd be like walking into the vitamin shop. I mean, we have a vitamin for everything. We have standard vitamin D and fish oil, everything.
Well, I'm very much homeopathic based. I try and shoot for that. I am still on some pharmaceuticals, unfortunately, and I'm trying to get rid of them.
Yeah.
But they first of all, I did a little research on this, and I whatever they're doctors. They went to school. They know what they're talking about. Not at all.
No.
They said my cholesterol was high. It was at like 100, which I did research like
It's a good
cholesterol.
thing. Did you know
When
that?
it's for your brain.
Mhm.
Like when my parents were around, 300 was high, So
Yeah,
I'm like, who comes up with these numbers?
exactly.
The pharmaceutical companies, and they wanted to put me on a statin.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no. Let me try and do it holistically first And if I fail, then we'll rediscuss it. But I did research on statin, and that stuff is garbage.
It's
I mean,
horrible
it's
for you. Yeah.
horrible, right? So I did, and I looked up, and I have a friend who's a doctor who's a nutritional on the nutritional side too, and she was like, take red rice yeast and CoQ10 and fish oil.
Hmm.
Just double whatever you're taking, just double it. And I did, and I doubled it. And within 6 months, I went back and he goes, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You're fine.
Wow.
You don't need anything. So, do I feel different? I don't. I
Right.
don't know that I had high cholesterol or not. Um, there's other things. I take I just did some research. I found this stuff called it's a high flavonoid cocoa. So it's like pure chocolate cocoa,
Oh, wow.
and it's got high flavonoids in it, which basically is like Roto-Rooter for your arteries. It cleans
Okay.
everything out. It helps your heart. But it's got also high doses of zinc and a couple other things in it. And I take it at night with a decaf coffee, which they say is perfect, and it puts me to sleep like I sleep more sound than I ever have in my life.
Really?
Yeah, it's
So is
spectacular.
it a pill or do you put it like
No, I
you?
put it in the coffee. And
Okay.
it's like hot chocolate. It's bitter because it's
Okay.
true pure cocoa.
Right.
It's not got sugar and all that other stuff in it. And it's the one product that I am now like, all right, if this was something I could sell, I would sell it because I swear
Really?
by it.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't have a bad heart. That's one thing is my cardiologist loves to joke with me. He goes, for a big guy, you got a great ticker. He says, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with your heart.
That's
And
awesome.
so now, but I want to keep it that way. So this keeps it really, it cleans out all the gunk in your arteries. And supposedly if there is blockage, it'll go in and clean it out. And it also like it lowers your blood pressure. It lowers your sugar, it helps your cortisone and everything. And it helps you just get rebalanced. And let me tell you what, my wife gets so mad. I go to sleep, I lay down, we're watching TV, and she's like, dude, already, you just lay down. How are you asleep already? Or I'll fall asleep out on the couch watching TV. Although last couple weeks, nights we've been sitting outside watching. Now it's a little too cold tonight, but
And then you do wake up feeling refreshed or do you feel still like tired?
no, I mean, I get up like I get up. I've never been one of those guys groggy in the morning. When I
Yeah,
wake up,
me
I'm
either.
up. I get up and I go. I do drink a cup of coffee in the morning. I enjoy a nice cup of coffee. That's my quiet time. I have my morning quiet time to myself. Me and the dog hang out, and then I have my cup of coffee, and then my day goes. And that's I don't. I may drink a Coke Zero every now and again. In the morning.
Yeah.
I like a Coke Zero when I'm at work. Because it seems to give me a boost, even though it's really just garbage. It's a fake boost. It's caffeine.
Yeah.
I take B12. I take a B complex actually, and but this stuff, it's blown me away. I've been taking these other things. Like I said, I've been trying the true liver. The organs and stuff, the liver, the brain,
Hmm.
all this stuff. I don't notice any difference. Maybe my body does. I'm not sure. I can't wait to go get my markers done again to
Yeah.
see where I am. But this is, excuse me, the first product that I have truly noticed a remarkable difference. And I'm normally that guy who gets up 2 or 3 times a night to have to go to the bathroom, or I'll just
Yeah.
wake up and I'll be laying
That's
there
actually
now.
me.
I'm there the first couple nights I took it, I was a little worried because I'm like, I'm not even having dreams. I don't remember anything. It's like I'm
Wow.
out, like anesthesia out. Now my body's gotten used to it. Now I'm back to like regular sleeping, but I still, other than the dog, he'll jump up on me sometimes in the middle of the night and he'll wake me up or whatever. But other than that, I sleep uninterrupted, which is
That's amazing.
yes. And supposedly as we get older, that's not very possible. I've been told. So
Oh gosh, that's great because I feel like right now it's not possible with 3 kids. If I get
well,
a full night's sleep, I'm like, woohoo.
let me tell you what between Lorianne and I, we have 6. And so she had 3, I had 2, and then we adopted one. And the last one is moving out in March, and you couldn't be more excited. I love my kids, but I'm going to love them when they're farther away. So,
Yeah. Well, then the second half of your life begins where you can, resume doing whatever you guys want, traveling and whatever it is.
and I've noticed because the one who lives with us, he's a big gamer, so we never even see him. He's always in his room playing, but he's going to go to firefighting school and he's going to become an EMT. My son-in-law is one down in South Florida, and he's kind of taking him under his wing and he's kicking him into shape, and he's going to move down there. And but like now that the house is just me and her, technically, it's just like we're closer than we've ever been. We do
Yeah.
everything together. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like that sappy old couple, but it's like actually it's like the spark's been
That's good.
lighted.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. We don't have anything to even argue about. There's no kids or anything, so there's nothing to argue about.
Right. Yeah. No,
You're
that's
starting, so sorry.
I know. I have 18 years to go.
How old's the baby now?
She's 5 months old.
5, okay. And then your next one up he's 3?
He's 4. He just turned 4.
Well, he
Yeah.
just okay. I think you guys were out on boat for his birthday, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, that was for Parker's birthday. Yeah.
Oh,
Parker's it was in June. So Parker's 7, and then Ryder's 4, and then River is 5 months. And we're done.
Yeah. That's it.
I mean, I like sometimes because she's so cute, I'm like, it's the newborn phase. Like when she was a newborn, I was like, oh yeah, I'll do this all over again. But it just, no, because honestly, like I love my house. My house is 4 bedrooms. I'm like, we got 4 bedrooms are occupied. We're like, this is it. So, and it's just a lot. Plus, I'm 32 now. I mean, I know that sounds young, but when you start talking about like, okay, my kid's gonna be at graduation, I don't want to be too old. So,
Right.
yeah,
So now the cool thing is we have 2 granddaughters. One is she just turned 1 on New Year's, or no, she's going to turn 1 on New Year's Day. It's not New Year's yet, and tomorrow or day after, and
yeah.
the other one is 4. I don't see the 1-year-old as much because she lives not too close, but the 4-year-old we see her all the time, and there's nothing better. But the coolest thing is when I get done with her, I just there you go, bro. You can have her back. I'm done.
That's what my mom says too.
Yeah, I mean, but she's sassy britches. Oh, but she loves her Lala and Papa. So it's just it's hilarious. It's just so. And now at 4 years old, she's so talkative and so smart, and like she
Oh
wants to
yeah,
have like conversations with you. I'm like, where did you come from?
yeah.
And she really, when she's around me, she like mimics a lot of things I say. So I caught myself and I was going, what the, and I'd stop. And then so she started doing it. And I said, so I came up and I said, I'll go, what the flip flop? And now she says, what the flip flop? And so she thinks it's hilarious. So, that's what you have to look forward to.
Yeah.
And then they'll grow up and then you'll have little babies come visit you. And then, but like I said, the greatest thing about grandchildren is, get them all jacked up on sugar and caffeine,
That's
give
what
them
my
a
mom
puppy
does.
and give them back.
My mom for Christmas, she got them like these big, big bags of nerds and like the nerd clusters and Skittles. And
Stuff mom would never buy us.
she's just standing there smiling at me while they're opening it because she's like waiting for me to like react because she knows she's like, oh, this is my job. I'm a Gigi.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's awesome. So, all right. So you're in Melaleuca.
Yeah.
You're building teams.
Yeah.
You've been in it since May.
Yeah. June's when I really like it was the last week of May that I joined. Yeah.
Okay. So June. So we'll call it 6 months.
Yeah.
And in 6 months, tell us what you become.
So I'm a senior director 3. I'm 98% of the way to senior director 4, which in like I guess sales wise, that's about $50,000 a month in sales. It's a much different compensation plan here, where here you have to develop other leaders to grow. So so at Lavelle it was volume based, so it's I could sell as much as possible and I could hit the highest rank without a team. Here you actually have to build teams. So you're incentivized to help other people make money. And so I really like that. I think that's why the company's been around for 40 years. But so I'm a senior director 3 at my former company. There was only 6 ranks. Here there's 39 ranks. So this is like truly a career company, I call it, because you have so many different levels that there's a lot of people at the top at Melaleuca, but it's just so awesome. First off, to see the diversity here. Like there are people, because I've been to 3 corporate events now. I'm going to my 4th one in February, but the 3 that
Is
I've
your
been
corporate office in Idaho?
Idaho, yeah.
Okay.
So no, I haven't been there yet, but so they're actually flying me out there in July. So once you hit senior, they fly you out for a week, and like corporate just like wines and dines you and takes you through the manufacturing facility, gives you a bunch of free products. So that'll be really cool. But so what was I saying about so here, Like there's people that are in their 70s or 80s that have been doing Melaleuca like since it was only cleaning products, 35 years ago. They have no social media and they're walking the stage and they're like, oh yeah, this couple just made $480,000 this year. And they're like grandma and grandpa. And I love that because it's so different. I came from like this young, hip, like everyone's young, everyone's selling weight loss, to like a company where you see all walks of life. Like literally like the Amish community. There's like just everybody you could possibly imagine is at a Melaleuca event. And I'm like, this is the company for me because it truly just shows you like it's built to last and there's like generations of people that are successful here.
Sure. What? Okay, so you're a senior level 3.
So yeah, senior level 3. Yeah.
What does that say like in the corporate world? Where would that put you in middle management?
So yeah, so okay, so you have director through director 9, which is like that's initial leadership. That's, probably like an assistant manager. Senior is probably like general manager. So
Okay.
senior, you still have a long way to go. Now senior is where you get the auto bonus, you get a bunch of like access to a bunch of other income like opportunities through the compensation plan. But then from senior it goes to executive. Executive is the equivalent to what I was at Lavelle. So it's about $200,000 a month. And you're making about $200,000 a year. And then and then after executive is national. Nationals make about $400,000 a year. And then after national, it's corporate, and corporates are over $1 million a year. So I'm right in the middle of the senior ranks. But I mean, I've been here for 6 months and I've made over $70,000. So I'm quickly growing. But like I said, the compensation here is a lot different. So if you're developing leaders, they have here, what's amazing is they have 100% bonus matching. So any of your personals that hit ranks, you're making 100% of their bonus too. So you're truly incentivized to like make other people make money.
Can your leaderships that you've brought in your training and building, can they grow above you? Can they
Oh yeah.
pass you? Okay.
Oh yeah. They can surpass you.
Okay, they don't push you up. They're like, all right, try
Well,
and
because
catch
it's
up
all
now.
about, yeah, it's all about structure. So, if I like, let's, for example, we actually have a girl, Chelsea Gilbert, who just had one of her personals go corporate before her. Now she's still a national director 9, which she's on the cusp of corporate, but she had someone advanced to that before her because that girl had more executive directors developed than she did. So it's all about how many like leaders you developed under you. So if you have someone under you that develops more leaders than you, then they will surpass you, but they're still in your downline. So you're still, earning off of them and they still,
Okay.
you're still leading them.
So really, realistically, Susie Homemaker, who just wants to buy product and maybe tell a couple friends, could find that Brittany and they explode underneath her and pass her, but she's still making money because
She's
you're.
gonna make money.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh
That's
yeah,
pretty
she's
cool.
still, and that's the cool thing about Melaleuca. In most MLM companies like Lavelle, they tell you that you have what's called heavy legs. So if you bring in a runner, like if Susie Homemaker brings in a Brittany Walker or whatever, and they take off, well, they'll cap you on how much you can take of their organization towards your own growth. Meaning, like at Lavelle, I only 60% of my strongest person would count for me in my rank. So if I was going for a 200K rank, I had one girl that was really strong. She would only be 120,000 of that 200. So I'd have to go find another 80,000 outside of her. At Melaleuca, there's none of that. You're incentivized to run with whoever's running. So if you have one person that's running, you're incentivized to help them build. So you can bring in people, enroll them, and then help them team build too.
If you say you're not a big recruiter and you just get 2 or 3 people, you can still be successful, I guess. Or do they want you to really build they want it to build as wide as you possibly can?
No, not necessarily as wide. It's really about developing leadership. So you can build wide, but like here, if I have a girl that's crushing it and let's say she enrolls 10 people in the month and she's like a little bit short on volume to get to her next rank, I'm incentivized to help place her and get her to that next level because I'm going to get a bonus too. But you can definitely make money off of just enrolling customers. You don't have to team build.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And is this the company that you're number 8 in the nation?
Yeah, North America number 8. Now it's month to month, so that was October. So November, I definitely wasn't number 8. I think I was like top 20, and then December, those haven't come out yet. But yeah, no, 2026 is going to be our year. I feel like we're just getting like our wheels turning. So
Interesting. I mean, that's cool. And make sure you send me all the info so I can put it in the bio. So if anybody wants to find out
yeah,
more information, for sure. All right, let's switch gears for a minute. And then I'm going to come back to, before we wrap up, we'll go back to entrepreneurism because I'll have a quick, quick shot, quick question
yeah,
answer. Let's talk about your political run.
yeah.
So you were running for Lake Mary,
Seminole County Commissioner.
Seminole County Commissioner.
Yeah,
And I think if I remember correctly, it was a pretty close race.
yeah. It depends on what. So it was about 3,200 votes would have swung it. Yeah,
I know it was heartbreaking for you because I
yeah. That
remember
was really hard.
yeah, you were out there pounding the pavement. I would have voted for you, but I live in Orange County, so I can't help you.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think that trajectory would have looked like for you if you had become the county commissioner?
Well, knowing what I know now, I think honestly I have more power outside of the political seat, meaning that, I'm sure you remember back in 2020, I really like raised hell here locally, caused a lot of trouble for the politicians. And
People knew who you were.
yeah, and that's how I got the radio show, and that's how a lot of opportunities came out of that. But ultimately, what came out of it is I think we put a lot of pressure on politicians, and I think we're seeing it's so crazy because the entire school board, after I sued them and everything, they none of them ran for reelection except for one, Abby Sanchez, but the rest of them retired because I think that ruined their career, and I think that I have more power on the outside than I do on the inside. Even though I'm not saying I won't ever run again, it's actually funny because we're coming up on 4 years, so his seat is up again, and nobody knows if he hasn't filed yet. And here's the thing: where I went wrong is I sat on it too long because I was scared. I was like really scared to run because they trash you or whatever, and I was terrified. So I sat and I sat and I sat and I literally waited until the last day to file, which only gave me 90 days to run a campaign. And so I should have filed like now. Like if I wanted to do it, I should do it now because it gives you, 8 months to run a campaign. If I would have had that time, I would have absolutely smoked him because where I got beat was the mail-in ballots. And so what that tells me, mail-in voters typically do their research really early on. And I was just coming into the race when they had already decided, okay, well, he's going to be my guy. So they didn't even know who I was when I came in. So when I look at the numbers, I look at like the campaign that we ran, had I gotten in before, I mean, it would have been, I think I would have won. Now, the reason I'm like, should I do it again is because it cost a lot of money. So,
Sure.
I spent about $80,000, not 80,000 of my own money. I raised 50,000, but I spent about 30,000 of my own money.
Now, when you work as that position, the is that a paid position?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You make 100,000 a year for a part-time job and it's benefits and everything.
Okay. And as the county commissioner, and I'm trying. Obviously, this is not a political show. I was on a political show, but you have a political background, so I'm going to talk about it. So I'm trying to learn, and one of the things I have learned, you know, both of us are strong patriots
Mm-hmm.
and Christians, and I have learned more and more of us need to step up and start running for local politics
Yeah.
because we're the people who are going to build the grassroots and build it back, build the nation back the way.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I ran for senator, people are going to be like, "Who is this schmuck?" I don't know who this guy is, but a local it might be okay. And as I tell everybody, people are out there complaining about politics and complaining about what's going on. Well, then go do something about it.
I know.
I if you don't like the president, well, there's nothing you can do. I mean, unless you're been in politics all your life and you're going to try and be a president, that's a whole different ball game. But but if you don't like what the mayor of your town's doing, then go
Mm-hmm.
become the mayor. I went to
That's
high
the
school with
thing
the
is
kid
you
whose
actually
dad was the mayor, and it was
local level influences your quality of life. So
sure,
people always they always look to Washington and they're like, oh, I don't like what's going on here, Congress, whatever. Not that I do either. I mean, I could criticize them all day. However, that my day-to-day life is much more influenced by my commissioners, county and city, and my mayor.
Right. And one of the things, it's funny because in the industry, the job I work for, we deal with permits.
Oh,
And boy, howdy, I'm like, I should just run because I would just get rid of permits. It's such a
I
pain.
know. I actually ran on that. I was running on getting rid of all the business licensing that's required to like be a hairdresser, to be a barber. I'm like, I think that's so dumb.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I work in the fence industry, so if I'm replacing a fence that is existing and I'm following HOA what they want,
Isn't that crazy?
why do you need to have a permit?
I know.
Especially my beloved Orange County, who I've been told, well, we don't inspect it, so just go ahead and build it. I'm like, then why? Oh, because you want to get paid. Okay, never mind.
Exactly.
You're
They're
making
gonna
money.
find a way to get money on everything.
I
Yeah.
get it. Now there's towns that have switched and now they all inspect because I think they got tired of hearing that from people. What do I
Yeah.
need a permit for? You guys aren't even going to come look at it, and unfortunately,
It gives them a job, which means then they can take taxpayer money to pay themselves to have this job to go inspect things. It's crazy. It's a whole nother that's a
well,
whole
I
other
think
show.
I think I got to go with your last post. I think you and I should open up a Somali daycare and
Me too. Yeah.
we'll be all right.
I'll go scout some places out in Minneapolis and let you know.
So do you think you might have an itch for go running again?
Maybe. I mean, I'm on planning and
Could,
zoning right
could this
now.
be a first here on No Brainer?
Yeah, right. No, I don't know. I don't know about this. Not this cycle. I met with some people last week to talk about it, and they're like, "We'll like." I had a whole campaign company that was like, "We'll do it for free, just free." And I'm like, "I just had a baby, and I did it the first time when I just had Ryder. Ryder was 5 months old, and I'm like, it's not. I don't know. I just started my new business, and I don't know, but I would like to do it one day. I think I'd probably just do like Lake Mary City and start smaller, because covering that whole territory of the entire county and trying to put signs up all over that was a lot of work. That was
Yeah.
that was the hardest thing I ever did in my life.
I will say when you were running, again, another proud moment. I was very proud of you, but I was also I could see the stress in your I could see the stress in you.
Yeah, it was a
And
lot.
I said, I think, and this is just me talking. I'm not a political guy. I don't want to get into politics. Maybe I should because whatever, because Lorianne she tells me my voice would be well heard.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're a lot happier just running your business.
I am.
Now, let's jump into that. All right, we talked politics. That's my little smidgen for politics and my shout out to my old show, No Brainer, political No Brainer. When you have your business with Melaleuca, you're an independent distributor.
Right.
So, words of advice for entrepreneurs starting off, and do you think or should you or have you become your own LLC under this, or do you go as a sole proprietor?
So yeah, I definitely have my own LLC. I
Beautiful.
started my LLC when back in 2017. Once I started making decent money, I would say anybody that's making I would say more than probably $30,000 a year should have an LLC, just for the benefits of taxation. And also, we file my LLC as an S corp, so I'm technically employed by my LLC. That way, I don't pay self employment tax. But yeah, I did all that through my CPA. And I do that pretty early on. And I'd say if you are an entrepreneur and you're just getting into business, it costs really about like $150 to do it. You don't have to have an attorney do it. That's the biggest, I'd say obstacle that people tell me is they're like, oh, I can't do that because I don't have the money for an attorney. You don't need an attorney. You literally just go on your Secretary of State website and apply for an LLC. And then you go on the
Sundays.
IRS website and you apply for your tax ID number. And it's literally that easy.
Right. I looked at this one company called Bizzy, Bizzee,
Mm-hmm.
and they do it. It's like $150 and they do everything for you.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, they even put you on Sunbiz and get you your tax ID and stuff like that. And in the end, it's a little bit more. It might be closer to 200, but still.
Well, if you don't want to deal with a headache, then
If
definitely.
you click the wrong button, like when I had my LLC, I had made it. I had to file a Schedule K or whatever it's called because I clicked the wrong button. I think I made myself an S corp, or I didn't make myself an S corp, and I was making too much money, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it was it cost me more in taxes, unfortunately, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so good. Okay, words of the wise for an entrepreneur who wants to take off. Once you hit a certain dollar amount, you should definitely go LLC. And then, is it over 60,000? You should be an S corp, correct?
Yeah, over 60,000. Yeah, I mean, I honestly have a CPA out of Utah that's been doing everything for me since I was in direct sales, and he's the one. And honestly, I hired him too late. I hired him when my best year was in 2018, and unfortunately, I wrote a check for multiple $100,000 to the IRS because I just had, it was too late. But now he does everything for me. So I pay him $250 a month and he just manages it all for me, manages my books. And he now knows like all my spending habits. So he knows how to sort transactions and I just don't even deal with it. So
Right, right.
it's
And
really nice.
I'm sure you have an office and you write that off in your car and all that other fun stuff. And
Yeah.
that's awesome.
I write off
Okay.
everything.
If I'm just starting out as an entrepreneur, I don't know where to go. I'm listening to I did a short the other day on learning to hear the frequency versus the noise.
Yeah.
So there's so much noise going on. I'm starting a business. You're an idiot. What are you doing? Oh, this is fantastic. Do this. Here's your niche. Do this. Obviously you have to find your passion. What was the key to you finding your passion so you knew I'm going to be really successful at this? Where did the light bulb go off?
It was helping other people succeed. That's where I quickly learned that this is like where I belong. And I think I tried to carry that over into insurance by building a team. But it's just that was a whole different animal. The thing I love about this industry is that um, the the little guy can win with very little investment. So we're not asking them to risk their entire savings or their house or anything to be successful. And but no, that first win for me, that what became addicting about this business when I was with Lavelle, my first company, and having like these stay-at-home moms that maybe had never contributed to their household expenses before or their household finances, and they got their first check and it was a couple $1,000s, and it was like that moment for me was huge, because then I'm getting the phone calls from them and they're literally crying because they're like they feel a purpose, because they're it's just helping people in this business. If you like to help people, you can win. But I think that translates honestly across any business. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you set your mind to helping other people, maybe it's creating a product that helps other people or a service that helps other people. But if your mission is centered around helping others win, you in return will win. And I totally believe in the law of attraction. I think that is one of the number one things that's kept my head above water in this business, is just knowing that what you put out there is exactly what you're going to get back in return. And so if you're an entrepreneur or aspiring to be an entrepreneur, and you're only thinking about the dollar sign, and you're looking ways to cut corners or to cut people and hurt people to get ahead, just know that the law of attraction will always come around, and that is going to eventually catch up to you. But the same rings true on the other end, where if you literally are a selfless human being, and you're find that passion and you find that service or that product that is going to change lives, and you truly go out there with that mission, I do believe that the law of attraction works in that aspect too. And the right people are going to find you, and the right people are going to find your product, and the right people are going to find your service. You just have to be extremely, extremely consistent. So I
Right.
think consistency and knowing that what you put out is what you're going to bring back is so important.
Well, yeah, that's great. I mean, it's so funny too. Derek beats into my head all the time about consistency, because I have shiny object syndrome. And so I'm always like, oh, why don't we do this? This will blow it up. And he's like, dude, just keep posting and
Yeah.
keep getting great guests and keep putting out great content, and it's gonna go.
Yep.
And so I get it. I'm always looking for the bigger the better. That's just me.
Yeah.
But I mean, fantastic. I could have you on for another 2 hours, but I know you've got little ones you got to take care of. And
Well, thank you for having me.
oh, it was so
Great to
great
see your
catching up.
face.
Yes, it was so good to see you and great to catch up with you. One of my shining stars. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of my shining stars. I will take pride for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, like I said, it's such a wonderful journey I've been able to watch, and I was always, when I started the show, one of the things I said, I'm going to have you on, because, and I think we talked probably over almost a year ago. I
Yeah.
said, I need to have you on
We
because
talk like off and on throughout the year. I feel like all the time. Yeah.
you just leave my messages unread. I cry, and it's okay.
No, I need you just text me. When you text me, I see it like that.
I know. I figured it out. I got it all figured out. So send me all your info. Do you want to promote anything before you go?
No, nope. I don't. I mean, not really. Just if anybody's out there, if you're a stay-at-home mom watching this and you're looking for a way to make an extra buck, I can definitely show you the ropes. But no, that's really it. I really appreciate this. I can't wait to check out some more of your shows now that I have your YouTube.
Excellent. And you're on all the socials?
Yes, I am on all the socials.
You have a lot of followers?
Yeah, so _ Blonde Patriot on Instagram, and then I think it's Blonde Patriot on Facebook too, facebook.com/Blonde Patriot.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. We will get you, and I'm going to get the video out there so you can send it to all your fans so they can love support you on the show too.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
Excellent.
much, Zach. Well, happy New
Thank
Year.
you. And guys, remember, as always, you can find us on all the socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. What's the other one called now? X. I always forget. We're on YouTube. Remember, on YouTube, though, we're No Brainer Shows with an S because somebody else has a no brainer. And if you don't like looking at my face, you can hear us on audio, but we have a wonderful face to look at tonight. So please check out the video. But we're on all the audio sites. We're on Spotify, Apple. And until next time, hopefully Derek will have come back from his vacation. If not, we'll just do another show without him. Thank you. We love you, and peace.